Well, I've got the live feed, but I haven't got the button that says you have got it.
Okay, I've got the live feed. It's checking. Let me go back over here. See what's going on. Because that's the default, and it's not there.
Hmm.
Technical issues. I don't quite understand. Back to my other page. Yes, for some reason, Phil, it is posted. Yes. On my home page.
Okay.
And we're having some sort of technical issue, but we're going to continue on here because I'm not quite sure how to fix it. Because I've posted it twice to what I thought was our default page, and it just didn't post. All right, well, we will continue. Let's see if I can share this. I wonder if I can share it in real time.
Well, I'd offer help, but I know nothing. You know, I have my own personal geek, so whenever I have problems, I call him.
I love that. I wish I had that. Bear with me, everyone. Sharing this our page. It's posting. Anyway, while I'm dealing with these technical issues, posted. Let's get back to the topic at hand and talk about tips to boost your club membership. I did some research on this, of course. I always try to make sure that I've looked up a few things to help guide us on our way. And I found dozens of great tips, not necessarily specific to Toastmasters, but to any membership organization.
Okay.
One article I read was 101 ways to increase membership.
Okay.
And of course, we can't cover 101 ways in our time here. So we're going to have to just cut that list down a little bit. And some of the things I put together, and of course, I've got a PowerPoint to illustrate. And part of the reason that I do that is that when folks come back and look later, they can focus on that PowerPoint and get the main tips. So let me pull that up. Let's go to screen share. Excuse me. Okay. All right. So today we're going to talk about tips for recruiting new members. And Phyllis, I know you have been in Toastmasters for a long time, 30 plus years, I think.
25.
Yes, and I know you have got a lot of just a wealth of great knowledge on what works and what doesn't work. So as we go through this, I really want you to challenge some of the assumptions that are in these tips that that I've put together, and share with us your experience. So first, we're going to look at social media. We have to get this out of the way. Social media is something that I am not particularly well versed in. I know our PRM, Jennifer Smith, she really has terrific knowledge of social media. I'm just not as well versed. I've tried to learn more. But we have to address social media because it is so common in our society. And we want to make sure that we reach out to those folks who kind of live on social media. So I put a few on here. Facebook, of course, we're on Facebook right now, although we can see that there are occasionally technical issues.
We're on somebody's Facebook.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing here what the heck I'm doing. I just don't know, but we are, in fact, sharing this, but it's just not going quite the way it normally does. So there's a bug in there somewhere. But my point here is that if your club isn't on Facebook, you probably need to be. It's one of the largest social media outlets available. And I know younger people don't particularly like Facebook. It's sort of fallen out of favor, but it is still a force to be reckoned with. So you need to be on Facebook. Meetup. Now we get a lot of new members through Meetup, and Meetup is a social media platform designed to bring people with common interests together. So we have a Meetup page. Most clubs now do have a Meetup page or something similar, because you can search it and find any number of things, and people who are looking for specific times and what have you for Toastmasters can find you on Meetup. LinkedIn is often thought of as a business tool where you make networking connections. But there are businesses that use LinkedIn, and it can also be a terrific tool for your club to make those connections. Others might be Twitter, as an example. Twitter and Instagram, you could go on endlessly. TikTok, some of the newer ones, but it's very, very difficult, I find, because I've been VPPR and I've tried to keep up as VP of membership. If you have 6 or 7 different social media platforms that you're trying to keep up with, it's going to be very, very challenging. So I think these are some of the ones that I would consider probably with the broadest reach. And then most important is maintain and update your club website, the Free Toast host, or if you have another platform, make sure that you are changing up the photographs, that you're making it as user-friendly. And if you get visitors to land on that page, they have a way to get in touch with you and to take the next step. So social media is a whole area that I think all of us could do better with, and it would help us with our club growth. And then this is a category I said, don't ignore the obvious. When I've talked to other club growth directors about these issues, what I often hear is, well, we're not a for-profit company. We don't have a huge marketing budget. So some of the things we have to do are the tried and true. And that includes things like hold an open house. And, Toastmasters has open house contests where you can get TI bucks. So hold an open house. This is a little bit more challenging online, I think, because we get so many advertisements and notices and what have you, that it can be a little harder. When we were meeting in person, excuse me, you could go to surrounding businesses and pass out flyers. You could leave magazines in doctors' and dentists' office. It's a little bit more challenging, I think, in a virtual environment where you want to take the social media outlets we just discussed and make sure that they're saturated with advertisements about your open house. Invite friends and family. I was on a call last night with Region 2 club growth directors, and there are about 10 different districts in Region 2, and 6 of them were on this call. And the tried and true thing is, have a open house where everybody in the club brings a friend or a family member to attend the meeting. Again, that may sound obvious, but it's not something that we always apply consistently. Reach out to former members. one of the nice things about Free Toast Host, the website, is it does have a listing of former members that you can target specific emails to them. I've done that before. You don't always get a great response. Sometimes you do. And sometimes members drop out of Toastmasters because they need a break. And it just takes a little bit of saying, hey, are you ready to come back and rejoin the club or rejoin Toastmasters? So reach out to former members. Hold recruitment contest. I mentioned earlier that Toastmasters has, their contest, the Smedley Award, and what have you for membership growth. It's also baked in, if you will, in the Distinguished Club program. But a step beyond that, at the club level, could be to incentivize your members to recruit new members and hold contests to that effect, and then see how that works out. Any comments so far there, fellas? You've been quiet, or I've just been consuming all the audio.
Well, I want to kind of mention about former members.
Okay, let me go back.
I've tried sending to all the former members, and I find that if you go online, or whoever is VP of Ed, or I actually have made all that information available to all of my officers. And it's a matter of not sending to a group. It's a matter of picking an individual and sending to them and telling them, come visit. We'd like to know what's happened to you. You've been gone a while. Are you still in the same job? Various things that you might know about that person. So make it a personal invite to one person. And if you maybe take 5 people a week, or even just one person every week, and go through the list. If it's somebody that you personally knew at the club, send them an invite. If it's not, send a list on to other members who might know them personally. But inviting former members, I think, is a great idea, but I don't think it can be done as a group. I think you have to do it one-on-one.
That is excellent advice, and when you think about that for a moment, that is very, very true. People don't like to be sort of email blasted, if you will, and that personal approach. And the other advantage of that, as you explained it, you may have members in your club who have a special relationship with a former member, and they may be able to make more headway than you in that context. So that's really great. Anything else?
It's easy to say no to a group. It's not as easy to say no to a person.
You're right. And not just in the email, but also through a personal call. Yeah. If you do have that relationship, talking to folks on the phone, if you can get them, it's as an aside, a lot of times I let calls, if I don't recognize the number, I let them go to voicemail, because you get I can't tell you how many times I've been offered to update my car warranty.
My car's 10 years old and I'm still getting those.
I know, and I get the ones, what is the other one? Oh, they told me that I've qualified for a $250,000 loan. Now, I'm really excited about that call. So, getting a hold of folks can be a little bit more problematic than it used to be. Now, some other things that I categorized as sort of being prepared as a member of Toastmasters we can talk about. Wear your Toastmasters pin. If you wear your pin out beyond the meetings, people are going to ask, what is that pin for? Tell me about that pin. And that is your opening. That's your entree to talk about Toastmasters. So be prepared for that and wear your pin. Be ready with your elevator speech. Excuse me. Have it go over in your mind. What I like to recommend is write out a 1 minute, probably that's enough, a little 1 minute speech about Toastmasters, and be ready. This goes along with wearing that pin and saying, hey, Let me tell you about Toastmasters, or any opportunity you have. If that's ready in your mind, it will become automatic. Oh, I can tell you about Toastmasters because I'm prepared to tell you about Toastmasters. Carry business cards. The club should invest in getting, sort of generic business cards that all of their members can carry with them. And on that card, on the back or the front or whatever, it needs to be information about when and where your club meets. And if it's online, the link with which potential members can sign in. So carry business cards. Share your club brochure, or if your club has a newsletter. Pardon me again, I'm still getting over this cold. If you have friends that express an interest, be ready. Give them the speech, give them a brochure, or hey, take a look at our newsletter. Here's what's happening in our club that you may find interesting. And you can share that through email or through, if you print it out and you happen to be in a position where there's an interest or you want to create an interest, you can share that information. And that gives them a written something, whether it's a brochure or a newsletter, that they can carry with them and refer back to later. Now, when it comes to meetings, so we talked about some of the things that you can do to be prepared, but one of the most important things is make sure that you welcome guests when they do attend your meetings. Make sure that you have quality meetings, and that includes hybrid meetings. If you are hybrid, make sure that you have good equipment. And this is a bit of a challenge because your club's not going to be buying equipment. I mean, I'm lucky enough that I have a couple of laptops. One's mine, one's my wife's. I can create, I think, a good quality meeting. But if people are visiting you online and it's not a good quality meeting, that's going to turn them off. Another thing you can do is conduct periodic special events. We talked about this at Wake Up with Toastmasters yesterday, where Jackpot Speakers is having a special event on Sunday, an evaluation extravaganza. And we have clubs that have special guest speakers or other special events that happen on at different times. Make sure that you conduct those special events periodically to shake up your meetings. It'll make your members more interested and engaged, but it also presents an opportunity for you to reach out to others and say, hey, we're having this very special event and we'd like you to attend. Have fun. There's nothing worse than attending a Toastmasters meeting where nobody's having fun. If you're not having fun at your meetings and learning something, it becomes laborious. And then give out visitor packets. There's some excellent examples on the website. Do you have any thoughts on some of these things, Phyllis?
Well, welcoming guests, I think, is the most important thing, that they get introduced during the meeting, that you have a seasoned Toastmasters sit with them to go over the agenda to be sure they understand how the meeting is progressing, and then that you have a guest book. So you want to get their information and be able to send them thank yous for attending and invitations for the next meetings. With the Zoom, we always ask them to put their information in chat. And then, there are a couple people that will take down that information, maybe membership and the secretary, so that it's in the secretary notes the actual email or the new for the guest members. So it's always available to send them information. But that would be the main thing, is you got to treat these people like they are royalty, Because they are. They come to
Yes.
visit you, someone that they don't know. They're making an expedition out into the unknown. And they've come to visit you, and you should treat them well.
Absolutely, because you want them to feel comfortable, you want them to feel welcome. And these visitor packets, you should have both the physical ones, if you're doing hybrid meetings or meeting in person, and virtual ones. And then you want to make sure that you follow up. Get a phone number, get an email address, and then use that to follow up and help close the deal. I try to always make sure within at least 24 hours, I send an email to our guest and say, thank you for coming. I hope you enjoy the meeting. We'd love to have you back. We'd love to have you as a member. Are there any questions that I can answer for you about Toastmasters? And I also give them my cell number. So if they'd rather chat in person, they can do that. Okay, now, last section here I want to focus on a little bit. I know we've rushed through this a bit, but I'm hoping it is recording on our page. It will be available later. Because of the technical difficulties, approach the community. And what are some of the things that I mean by the community? Well, attend networking events. In past years, this was more accessible than it has been with the pandemic. For example, the Las Vegas Chamber of Commerce always had a very large networking event. There used to be a great number of these events that you could attend around the city and the county. And I think they're slowly coming back. You just need to make sure that you check the paper, check with your Chamber of Commerce, check with your members. What networking events are you associated with that we could attend? And then you can, attend those events, bring plenty of brochures, and recruit new members in that fashion. Make sure you pass out flyers and brochures at those events. You can do a talk. I spoke recently at a Rotary Club. I was invited. One of the Rotarians here in town was, in fact, a former Toastmaster when he lived in San Diego. And he invited me to come talk about Toastmasters at their Rotary Club. You can also talk to the Lions Club, Kiwanis, and any other service club that may be looking for a speaker. And that gives you yet another opportunity to pass out material to inform people about Lions clubs. Send out periodic press releases. If you're having those special events like we talked about earlier, you can send out a press release to local media outlets, the TV stations and the newspapers, magazines, and what have you, advising them of what's going on. And it's great if you can actually get a reporter to show up and write a little blurb about your event. That's a real payoff. Connect with local radio, TV, and cable stations and businesses. That may seem like pie in the sky and you need a big budget for your marketing campaign, but you'll find that oftentimes local radio and TV stations, they are looking for public service announcements from nonprofit organizations. So they may be willing to help promote your club if you reach out to them. And of course, reaching out to local businesses is a slam dunk kind of thing. Everybody should be doing that to make sure that they're getting the word out about Toastmasters. Is there anything you want to add, Phyllis? I know I apologize. I've rushed through this a bit to keep us somewhat on time. We're going to be running over a little bit, but anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
I would like to mention again about Meetup. We get so many guests from Meetup, but Meetup can be taken care of by one main person, but it's up to the club members to actually go on the Meetup site and say they attended the meeting and they loved it, something about the meeting, or that they're going to attend the meeting. So the more activity the site has, the more likely it is to get out in front of people that are not Toastmasters that might be willing to come to your club.
That's excellent advice. And I always, when I like those little reminders that Meetup sends you, because I'll sign up and say, yes, I'm going to attend. And then they send you, how was the meeting?
Yeah.
And that gives you an opportunity to brag. Well, I want to thank you, Phyllis, for your discussions today. I apologize again to our viewers for the technical problems and for my continued cold. It's a good thing that we're meeting online because, you know, I wouldn't be afraid of passing this cold on to everyone else. I wouldn't want to do that. Just a reminder that tomorrow is Educational Enrichment Night at 6 p.m. We have a number of classes that were published in the newsletter. If you have questions, you can send me an email. And or if you would like to be a guest on Wake Up Toastmasters, it's a chance to talk about your Toastmasters journey and to promote your club. So send me an email at d115cgd@gmail.com and we will get you scheduled. All right, anything else? Let's have a great weekend, everybody. You ready, Phyllis, to sign off?
I'm ready.
All right.
Take care, everyone.
Have a great day, everyone. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.